Goodiepal. Live fra Amsterdam den 5. september 2004. Kære Skandinavien og alle andre, der lytter med på dette fonogram. Der er desværre ingen lilleput-vej for jer. I vidste, det ville komme. Norsk, svensk, finsk, islandsk, grønlandsk, færøsk, shetlandsk, såvel som international fantasi eller science fiction har fortalt jer det siden 40'erne og 50'erne. Og derfor er den angst, I har i øjeblikket, patetisk. Denne her indspilning er 100% astral transhypesmekanik 1418 gør jeg klar til det evige future shock.
And with this transmission, the Goodiepal Fountain Doppelstein and VVM declares war on the Scandinavian education systems. Goodiepal, the Blue House, London, in exile. Not gamers in exile though, just in exile. I left the Royal Academy for a few days ago. I quit my job. I didn't quit my job because I thought it was easy. No, I quit my job because my situation there was made so shitty. Very straightforward. I don't think they like my teaching there. I've been teaching for 4 years modern composition, aesthetics and the history of computer music. Now, I have also tried to teach ideas and thoughts as well as concrete ways to handle and deal with the subjects of future computer music, casually called radical computer music, and which ways we could take in that right now. And computer music and music in general have come to a very interesting place in time right now. All my childhood, I could just pull the computer music card. I could just say, well, but there's a computer involved, it gotta be new, it gotta be fresh, it gotta be blah blah blah, all these sort of things. And I grew up totally without any education at all. I have less than the minimum education you need in Denmark. I have less than that, okay? So I actually have no official education whatsoever. Now everything I learned, including my English, I learned from films. I learned from the internet and I learned from the hacker community because that was where it was at. Now that's a problem because that's why I speak so bad English today. So like, alright, did you understand what I'm saying? And if you don't, well that's your fault, not mine. I'm trying to do my best. That's all I can do. I'm entering your house with the best I can do and you have to take it. Okay, right. Now, at the Royal Academy of Music, I tried to teach the ideas and the possibilities of, say, which ways computer music could go today and what we can do for the future so we just do not end up like all the other lamers that have done. See, computer music used to give me a dream of utopia, a dream of the future, a dream of things to come. And just as any other generation, when I grow older, all my friends and everybody fall off and now we are here. I can do two things now. I can hang out with the youth and I can continue and say, well, there was something we were talking about and we want these things to go true. Now, computer music now has reached a sad point where the people I was looking up to have now, over the last 2 years, been releasing albums where they are, oh, we have released a new album where we use old analog synths, old analog shit, because you don't have the money for it, but we do, because we bought it when it was cheap. Now, is that a cool idea or a bad idea? Well, it's alright, you would say, and I would say, yes, it's alright, except for the fact that it is almost like saying, Eric Clapton is pretty cool, he has some pretty cool back gear, when he's out playing on big stages, he has pretty cool back gear. He is still the jam, because he has some pretty cool back gear, like Marshalls and Fenders and all that shit. Now, that's the point of electronic music. And see, at my school, the Royal Academy of Music, where I was the teacher, the students were constantly backing the school and me. Oh, please, please, can we not buy for money from the school a 303, a 909, a 808, even an Atari computer for the cool MIDI sync? This is the place where electronic music is at. This is the place where computer music is at. We have now allowed it to freeze in its form, okay? Now, another thing we have allowed is, and I continuously say this, but computer music used to be about utopia, and you've seen maybe a lecture I did online, and that lecture indicates that I still believe in utopia as a main force for computer music. So my teaching were based on how do we live with artificial intelligence or alternative intelligence? How do we go on with these sort of things? How do we adapt to modern times? How do we educate computers? How do we give computers the very best of us? Instead of just saying how do we play them? How do we feed them with all the crap that we usually do? Okay? Now, how do we do such things? Well, I wouldn't know, would you? And yes, fuckfaces, I would actually know. And that's why I'm so fucking pissed off at this fucking school. The reason why I'm so fucking pissed off is because we, in Scandinavia, always have been sitting in this situation where you have this kind of living in a bubble, the kind of, oh, we're looking out all the time. We have had teaching about the Philips Pavilion, the John Cage ideas, the blah blah blah, Xenakis, Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, all these ideas with all this stuff it down to our throat. Like, we were not really a part of the action, we were not really a part of the game, We were left behind. We were somehow just watching the game, and the best we could do was at least to notate and be aware of the things that was happening. And I always thought that was the worst thing you, as a teacher, could give to your students. I'm not saying that history is not interesting in a way. I'm just saying that if we only gave the students these kind of ideas, we also feeded them with a scenario where there was absolutely no way that my students or the students in general would have a clue and a way to go out and do this sort of thing. See, when my students came to school, they were all in a situation where they were all like, oh, can I make another record on Tiger Beat 6? Oh, it would be so cool if I blah blah blah. Yeah, I really like Farmer's Manual. I want to get into these sort of things. Oh, as a teacher, can you help me get a 12-inch out on Planet Mu? All these sort of things. Do you know how Square Pusher made it? And all these sort of things. All the teaching at the Royal Academy of Music have been based on things that happened before, right? And see, now when we're talking about computer music, we were also talking about utopia. And that was when I took the opportunity up and said, well, for fuck's sake then, let's try to come up with something which didn't have an end and didn't have a place where it fitted. A new idea, basically, to see electronic music and see these sort of things. A completely different set of rules. An alternative, basically, to the existing rules, but made in for the future. So my students and other students that took part of the class and the lecturers or whatever could kind of say, well, this is interesting, here's another one. And we could go around the world, maybe, and we could actually come out not being like, hi, we are Scandinavia, we have nothing really to come up with, but actually come and say, hey, we have an alternative way of seeing these sort of things. If you listen to us, we would listen to you, and therefore also contribute to the table, sort of saying. Now, these ideas have been pulled out in the fucking drain by Thomas fucking Binder, Astrid fucking Elbeck, all the fuckers that was at the school. Well, the only one that don't have to queue up to get their slaps is Professor Wayne Siegel, one of the only visionary people that seems to be around at the Royal Academy of Music. Everybody else have been acting absolutely terrible. And what do you expect me to do? I'm not that young anymore. I'm still young enough. On a very, very good day, I cannot wish for more than of my life. Do you really suspect that I would sit back saying, okay, oh, this is too far out, my ideas are too far out right now, all these things I'm saying is too complicated, I must step back and allow other people to come forward with their fucking teaching of the Philip Pavilion or all this other bullshit or the Morton Feldman did and all these things. And I do really respect all these sort of things. I just say that we got to, and this is not a new thing, everybody else would agree, we got to have our own music. And what did we get? I was, after 4 years working at the place, thrown out of the building, nobody gave a damn. So what am I supposed to do? Do you think I will sit back, start crying, saying, oh, throw myself out of the window? Well, I was very close to do that, though I'm not gonna stop. No, what we are gonna do is doing the only thing we can, taking it back to the, and you would say the people, and then you would think I'm like hooligan or something, saying we're taking it back to the people. I won't say that. I'm saying we're taking it back to the streets and the secret societies and the people in the know. What we're doing now is giving this education and these educational tools and all these school material back to. And this is the way that Goodiepal and VBM declares war on the Scandinavian education system. And we're taking it back to the streets, to secret societies, to you people out there in the know. And we will place it there until that day comes where an academy of some sort, another Royal Academy of Music, or university, or place like that is brave enough to pull out their hands and saying, welcome to here, Goodiepal. This is where your ideas can grow. Until then, I'll be in the hacker communities.
Halløj venner, hør, vi er her allerede.